In order to meet the growing demand for electricity in Poland, a combined gas and steam turbine power plant will be completed in Płock by the end of 2017. Felbermayr Transport and Lifting Technology was awarded the contract for the transport of the 5 main components. This was the start of a multimodal project in which unit weights of some 500 tons were managed. Around 5,000 kilometers overall had to be covered for the transport of parts. In collaboration with the Felbermayr subsidiaries, Best Logistics, Hager and Schmidt, and HSW, the Felbermayr-Nuremberg branch was able to cope with the components in a few weeks using inland waterways and the North and Baltic Seas. In all, around 5,000 kilometers were covered. The Siemens factory in Mulheim on the Ruhr was the starting point for the steam turbine and generator, together with the turbine rotor and the 2 housing elements. Due to high floodwaters, these components had to be transported by barge to the North Sea, as far as Nordenham on the Weser estuary. Once the components arrived there, they were transshipped to a coaster. The gas turbine and an exhaust diffuser, already temporarily stored in Nordenham, were also loaded in addition. Following on from this, the parts were transported along the Kiel Canal to Gdansk on the Vistula estuary. Originally, a sea voyage had been planned to Gdynia. However, as the shipyard crane there was no longer available due to the delay from the high floodwater, a deviation was made to Gdansk. However, suitable transshipment equipment was not available there, and a floating crane was therefore ordered from Bremerhaven. Thereby, in the end, the components could still be transshipped onto the waiting pontoons on time. The following stage of approximately 350 kilometers to the wharf at Płock was covered on the river Vistula. Due to the low water level of the Vistula, special pontoons with a low draft were put into operation for this transport. In order to safely transfer the components of some 500 tons to land, the unloading ramp had to be reinforced with piling and concrete foundations. It was followed by landing from the ship. The gas turbine and generator were then loaded on a self-propelled modular transporter. The road transport could then begin. In order to transport the 500-ton heavy goods safely over a bridge with inadequate static loading capacity, the weight was distributed over 18 axes and a total of 144 wheels. But this stretched the vehicle length to 30 meters, which was too much for the following 3 roundabouts. The self-propelled modular transporter was therefore stripped down to 10 axes. The next obstacle was just a few hundred meters from the unloading point. a pipe bridge that was too low. However, through the use of a rail-mounted mast, it was possible to overcome this obstacle as planned. Positioning on the foundations in the powerhouse followed in May. The project was completed with final transport operations by road and rail. These included capacitor and housing components for the steam turbine of some 500 tons, which were transported by road starting from Opole. In addition, a transformer and 2 phase shifters were transported by rail from the Siemens sites in Weiss and Linz to the power plant construction site in Płock. The project was completed in October with the positioning of these components on the foundation. The key prerequisites for the successful completion of the contract were the use of special vehicles, the combination of road and water transport modes, as well as the perfectly coordinated cooperation of all involved sections and departments. Felbermayr, power in motion.